Like to call the Hartsville-Troutville Water Sewer Utility Board meeting to order for this March 12th, 2024. Let it be known that it is 6:04 p.m. And I'd like to thank everyone for being here and start with our invocation. If you mind leading us in that?
Not at all.
Okay.
Pray, Father, we thank you for this day. For the coming of spring and just a beautiful day. Thank you for the opportunity for us to be here, for safe travels. Continually ask for wisdom to make good decisions for the people we serve. And we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
You'll all stand and face the flag. Mr. McFarland, if you'll lead us in the pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Next order of business on our agenda is our roll call and determination of a quorum. Let the minutes read that it has been notified that Mr. White and Ms. Harper will not be attending this evening, and we have a quorum. We do have a quorum. Thank you, ma'am. Does anyone have any amendments that need to be placed on the agenda this evening? Any changes? Okay, if so, then allow the amendment, the agenda to stand as it is now. Next order of business is we have the approval for our February 2024 meeting minutes. They are in your packet, and Mr. McFarland, can you confirm if the minutes have been altered since we received those the other day?
Not these.
Okay, so the minutes received in the email are the same as they were.
Motion approved.
Motion approved on the table, Mayor McCall. I have a second by Mr. Taylor, Commissioner Taylor, pardon me. All in favor, say aye, please. Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval for the February 2024 financial report is also in our packet. Is there anything on the financial report that would need for us to suspend the minutes and relocate this later within the agenda?
No, only thing I added here, y'all talked about the difference between water and sewer costs. And I added that this time separated those, and there's in the back, on the very back part of the account, there's water on, and sewer on. And I put a little information at the bottom of your statement. Or,
It's like page 3.
yeah, I got the 3-page document showing the budget and all the expenditures. And we have 3,500 for the water customers. And out of those, there's 1,226 sewer customers that pay water also. But they represent about 34%, 35% of our customers, the sewer versus water. And we were, this come up about, Mintas says, if y'all would look at, we had the thought to look at a separate survey that would represent the cost of sewer only. But right now, it's the same as water. And y'all asked me to divide these costs out, so we can. We got time to look at this, y'all might want to look at it a little longer, but they're probably several months still out getting meetings started. They're looking at our data, we might have a report back from them this week. But I wanted to share that with y'all today. If y'all have any questions, we might bring them with this time.
I recommend that you leave it on there for the next meeting as well.
Anything stand out in that report, you can make attention to, you. Got it, you do.
Wait, guess just looking at the ratio of the number of customers and how much that affects your budget would be. How do we that? And to look at it in terms of this probably is how much is maybe water subsidizing that sewer, is what you're looking at, that's what they're asking you to look at, because a lot of places, do or do not do that. So that you're gonna incur costs in the next lifetime here in water, but you also have a lot of sewer costs, and you want to charge it off the sewer, you want to keep kind of going the way we're going and keep the rates the same. That's kind of what they're asking y'all. And all I really told them that was to respond to them was, I think y'all would look at it. But I couldn't say how what y'all would say. But I think y'all would be able to look at it.
Motion to approve tonight.
I would appreciate that. Lucas,
So,
have a motion on the floor.
second.
Yes. No, Mr. Taylor? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next order of business is our water loss report, February 2024. It is in your packet as well. Mr. McFarland?
Yeah, this month we were 34.6%, and last time this year, we were around 39.3%, and we did fix a pretty good leak here. And we're hoping to ramp that up once it dries up a little bit, keep digging into those and see if we can find some more of them. We fixed about a 40-gallon minute leak out on, Carter Range. Pretty substantial leak, so it's been doing that a while. And it helps see some of this change in this number of them. But we still got some to go. We found the leak. There's been certain leaks we found where, say it's one of our devices, mechanical figures that had rotted in the ground. It's put in years ago, but it's actually just rotted off. Actually, what taps the customer onto the water line has rotted off the line. And we only thought that was in one area of the system, but we found some over here in Crenshaw and on Highway 260. So we're gonna try to start listening to those specifically to trace those back to the main and listen on their leak detection device and see if we can't narrow some of that down, because if you find one, there's more. So, and we fix many leaks inside here with those kind of devices that have failed. And we don't want to put those kind of devices in. It's just an older cast metal that the ground received up. Well, like I said, we went to mostly brass now, so it's pretty much, there's a lot of room. It might over time, but it don't really do it quickly. But that's the kind of thing we found in the area that we didn't know existed. We thought it was newer than that. But we found some new trees in an area we thought was newer enough not to have. So, but that's kind of things we're finding. But that's all I had to show any more questions.
A few weeks ago, or maybe 3, I'm not sure, there was a leak or a hydrant on somewhere in the area of Sun Beasley.
Yeah,
Yeah. Was that a hydrant? What was that leak? What caused that?
drunk driver.
Someone hit it?
We couldn't find one. It was too busy. One of the guys actually saw a vehicle that looked mashed on one of the back on one of the roads.
Stop it. I think it was stop it.
So, and he wanted to know if I wouldn't go look at it, and said, we gotta get this water off that tank. Cause it's on the 12-inch run like that 12, we had to get it off. And, but we did call the police and they did try to go find them, but they had no luck. There was parts left in the car, at the side and the finger tore off, and there, the other garment, the car that we never heard of. We did ask, the officer did try to find somebody. I think somebody hit a cow on the field too that night, killed the cow. And that might have been the same vehicle would have done that. It could have been the same car hit the high, who knows, but they didn't find nobody. They're all gone but that's what caused that. Um,
And that hydrant was replaced with a new hydrant.
Yeah, we did that kind of piece.
How long was it out of service? How long were you out of service? And then,
Well, we were only that isolated area right there around just down to, Elm Circle, I think, Elm, keep remembering.
Royal Elm.
Yeah, yeah, and we had it off out in there, just in that area. Most everybody, we didn't have any people. And the 12-inch line was still intact, but it was like the 8-inch line off of it that they hit. But it was tied to it. We had trouble, we did off, with the valves didn't close us, so we had to fight the water we got it off as much as we could, we still had to fight water. But it took us most of the night to get it back together. We had to wait, we had to call a gas company to come out and mark their gas, so we didn't hit it. We had to wait at least 2 hours for that unless they show up, or you gotta give them at least 2 hours to come out on emergency and mark stuff. That sometimes slows us down.
anybody have anything else?
And that was about 200,000 gallons of water lost.
Thank you. The next order of business is our engineering report by Mr. Evan White with Mid-Ten Engineering.
Worked your way through the tank, for the SRF job, other than that, it's the same place that it was, basically completed, it's like testing it. The ARP projects, we've got the sewer PER submitted, the water PER is done. I've just got fix a few markups on today, it'll be submitted possibly tomorrow. They're now got 60 days. Used to be 30, now they're saying 60 days, the timeline, the review these. We've also got the sewer, 12-meter bid documents ready to go. But the pieces of the TER is free. So to get that done, we're going to bid those out. We'll, our goal is to do some of the tanks. There's 3 tanks that they was allowing y'all to do for water. We're gonna run those also this summer. As far as design and try to get those bid out. We're gonna bid those together, hopefully get a better price.
All 3 tanks.
All 3 tanks together. One contractor will get it. Should be a better price. And then the water treatment plant will start having, before very much longer, we'll start having meetings with the state. Corps engineers. First day was probably time to be involved. You know, involved, you know, welcome. It'll just be trying to get permits to pull more water out of there. See what they're gonna allow. Now they're gonna probably more likely than a pilot program from y'all on the membranes. So we'll have to. We'll find out what all they're required, or how long they're going to require it, and we'll be getting information from membrane companies for that process proposals.
How long do you think it'll take for the sewer PER?
Sure, PR, they've got it. Could be 30 days, could be 60, it's pretty simple. Water, it's been taking every bit of the 30 days. Sewer's been right there with them, but this is the first sewer one I've submitted is a PR.
Okay.
Most of it's been big documents and specs, so. I've also got that Starlight on, but we'll wait on it, so that's a priority and times. What we're doing, you on your water PDR is the tanks, the water line and the pipes.
Was that the money we got approved last?
Yeah. It's the three. 3,000.
That's the one you want to bring up, and that's one where you responded, hallelujah.
Yeah.
They didn't know this.
Same with they want it spent by September 2026. And the problem is 95, that was like amount of money. So either the math, for about $2.5 million times 95, that's how much money's flowing around in construction and trying to get stuff done. There's only so many times. We're trying to get y'all ahead of the group here to get this done. So. But we'll get- Any questions?
No, this one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your report. Our next order of business is to discuss about board member compensation. I understand that this was a request by Mr. Mark White. If anybody else has a interest in being the driving force to lead this discussion, we can have it tonight. Otherwise, I would recommend we table it until he is available. Because I've not discussed it, I'm not. Anybody else? Okay, that's all right, then we'll table it. Next order of business is Mr. Carol Carmen to address the board about 2 water line extensions from Woodmore Hollow Lane and Clean Prong Road and Claiborne Lane to Windy Acres Lane. And let the minutes show that Mr. Carmen is not here this evening and that there's Mr. White, unless you're here to represent him as well. I don't think.
He has talked to me about, the Clayton line, the Windy Acres line. Basically, I told you, cost on our end to design it. And he got a quote from a contractor on what it's gonna cost to be, and other than that, kind of everything.
How many residents is that going to? It's a home, and out there, it's something to extend this line out, and I'm assuming they're gonna lot something off, it's 3,000 feet of extension, but that's.
He homes some places.
There's several passes where he's going, but I don't know what they're going to do, if I can think of it.
Maybe it's on the 25 right there.
3,000.
He told me that.
It's basically gonna go down that, Clayton Lane and turn on Windy Acres and make a right and go up into there and piece that whole bit length of 3,000 feet. It's in Macon County, it's not in China.
Well, I noticed I didn't see it on our inspecting roads report that you,
Yeah, it's out.
For the second set did not represent anything that we were discussing, and that the first line, the Honey Pond Road is a dead end and Wardmore Hollow Lane and is attacked with McClanahan Road is number 29 on the list.
Correct.
So,
And what he, like I shared last night, but we only had the first one on there, he added this later, the one that put it on the video. But he was asking, he was gonna ask the board about, he paid to install it, paid Mr. Joe Allen to do the work. And if we would pay for the material, and I told him that's not what we just don't, never done that since I've been here. And it's in our rules that, the board can choose to pay for something to be done like that if they deem it feasible, but, if you're really not, I mean, some of these areas are not gaining a lot of customers before spending the money. That's what we got into with that list, you have 50 certain roads, and most of them are really cost effective, but that's what you get into. And the other thing, I'll just let you know, when you do that right there, you open it up for everybody else to come and ask the same thing. And we did, we require a developer to pay for all of it, and he's gonna come back and say, well, why don't you do this for me? And he may have a leg to stand on when he comes and asks, because you've done it for somebody else. Why don't you pay my material, and I'll have it put in and all that. So I mean, that's the kind of thing we get into, you involve yourself down the road, so.
What did he sign a developer's agreement with the water and sewer on any of these 4 roads?
You can allow an extension without a development agreement.
I understand that, I just didn't know if he presented
No, he had, not all of these.
because I went back and looked on the planning to see if I could see where he had submitted anything in the timeline since I've been on the planning board, and I didn't find anything that he had submitted to them in the timeline that I've been there.
And for example, right over here, over Paul Town, they want to extend, they were talking about extending the sewer over, which when I talked with Jalen, I told you we'd have to design it, build the spec, turn it over to us, and as it cost. And that's how we've always done it. But now that we go and do his and make him do that, if he does it for him, well, he may come back and say, well, I think I deserve a refund or something like that. So you just open the door for issues to, it's easy to just kind of keep everything in mind as best as you can, the same way. I mean, there might be reasons that look different sometimes. And I really think the one on Honeycomb, I did what he's really just trying to do it to help one gentleman. And that has needed water for a long time. I did what he's sincere, everybody's asking. But the other one, I didn't think might be a for-profit kind of situation with the family who wants to do something with the money.
Well, the Tennessee Code states that TCA 13.3.402A and TCA 13.4.302A, 402A and 302A subdivision means dividing a tract or parcel into 2 or more lots, sites, or other divisions require new street or utility construction. And the other one states any division of 5 or fewer acres for sale or building development. And when you do create a subdivision, there is a developer's agreement that is with this department. And that policy is already set per the agreement that this body created when we were in the courthouse meeting sometime back. That's, so I just wanted to, note to everyone here that 2 or more lots can be considered a subdivision by Tennessee Code. And that is a huge opening for anyone to come back to the door. If he's given them this opportunity, then we also get to face everyone who's putting 2 or more. But I would welcome an opportunity to speak with Mr. Carmen, with this body, if he does see fit to show, we welcome him. But thank you for the information that you have. Anybody else have anything on that? And then we'll go to the general manager's report. Mr. McBride, if you will present that, please, sir.
Okay, we've been working on getting the election day, see, we need to change some language in here in our contract that would allow us to include a collection agency in that action of trying to collect bad debt. You're not worried that way before it didn't mention collection agency or anything like that. There is a little change to this red letter here that the attorney and I had, we had a conversation with the Fox group that we've been working with. And they wanted it to say, down here on the 4th sentence in red, where it starts at inclusion. This was Mr. Wall, our attorney's suggestion that be compromised with Fox. Include charges from the debt collection agency. They wanted to say this collection fees, and he said, that's not fair enough. He said, he didn't like it. Our attorney did. He said, why are they, he made a comment, why are they afraid to be called a debt collection? That was his comment. So he said, I would be better, I'd rather say it this way, and that's what we put in here. I think it still does what they want to do. It just makes it clear who this is. And, But he gave me this, so for everything's in there, you might see something different in your packet I sent you. But I think it just said collection fees, period, it didn't say anything about a debt collection agency. So that's where we modified it a little bit with nine. But,
That covers it.
yeah. We just all, to do that, we'll get that set in motion to be ready to be able to get someone in there and complete the debt collection. And we got, in the next part of this, the next, thing I'm asking to approve goes along with it. But y'all need to see if that's okay with y'all to approve it. The language there. And the one, the 80 black is the original language up above it there. It's the original, and that the red is the, new language.
Well, you want to replace A day with A B.
But yeah, I want to replace the language that's currently in black here with the language that's in red. And that's our customer contract. Okay, that customer signed this as an agreement.
Who's make all the motions to see in that thing? I'm not afraid, so I'm not.
Mayor McCall making the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Stafford, for a second. Is your motion for both or for the first one?
In red.
We probably need to go to it.
Separate those.
Yeah.
So I have a motion for modifying the language to the utility service contract document for the debt collection company to pursue collections for bad debt, line number 8 of the contract. On the table with Mayor McCall and Stafford with our second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Then the approval for the following information that's needed to finalize the contract with Fox Collections to proceed with debt collection services. Do you want to sue the balances of 500 and more or and above? And would you like to offer a settlement discount if we get the debtor to pay in full?
The new gentleman I talked to, that we had a lady that was working with recently, she moved on, and we got a new guy that we met this week, or talked with this week, and he recommended $300 in that's what they recommended soon, it's $300. But that's up to y'all, I think y'all can set it wherever.
That's trying to retrieve $300.
When the election just passed, I don't know, I've never been involved before. We can ask that question and find out. But this, the thing, the line item that you just passed, it puts all that onto the customer. It's, I didn't think we wanted to pay it up front, but we get it back through the collection, the court costs and function. But that's the only thing out of pocket we ever have is paying for that as it goes through. And you don't have to decide this tonight, I just want to get it out there too. Because he's trying to get it. We don't have any, the contract we have is just a sample contract, he's not gonna complete one. But it needs to reflect all his questions, I guess, that you're asking tonight. I just trying to get a feel for where y'all can decide on something. We can have that ready to put in that contract, so y'all can sign it next month. But, we've been this long with it, another month, ain't gonna hurt. if y'all have questions, we could get that guy on the phone with y'all in a meeting and then answer them any questions y'all have. If that's something I'd like to do.
I guess it's.
Table, table, so we can table this. The details at this time for to finalize the contract with Fox Collection. Yet we still have open business on the approval for adding the language to the Hartsville Trousdale Water Sewer Rules and Regulations.
Yes, this is some things that really, I didn't realize they wasn't actually written in the Golden Reg, we did it for practice. And, this number 16, the cancellation of service to the customers passes, when people get shut off, they have to pay $45 late connected. And, by practice, we've always, it's their first time, or if they've had a payment period of at least 12 months without missing a day, and sometimes we give that back to them as a thank you for paying on time. But this puts it in wording that's in our document saying that we're doing that. I got wrong with them, because I'm sorry. Let's see. No, 16 is not that, that's not the one, I apologize. What happened one way, the cancellation of services customer. We've always give somebody, like if they get shut off for non-payment, we wait 90 days before we file them out and stop their account. Give them time to come in and pay their bill and get their services back on. And we've done this for practice, but we never had it in writing in the rules, and that's why we're adding. Because that's what we do for practice. That's this cancellation of the service by customer. The customer can do this the way this is written. They can do it before 90 days, or we'll do it automatically in 90 days. And that's how we've always done that.
So what I understand you to say is you have you're recommending the practice be put into policy for if someone has a service canceled and within 90 days they've not reported or already had the service cut off, that you won't have it cut off, is that correct?
Yes.
With a past due premium?
If you look to your right, all that language in there was deleted, but we're collecting a lot of that information that they used to get. We already had a lot of information, so there's no need to ask for it again. Some of that redundancy was took out of it. And this is what we, actually do. Cancellations request can be made by phone or in person. We took out some other wording that most people don't fax anymore. They might email, but they don't mail it anymore. Most people don't mail anything, but they probably could email it. But a lot of the information we have the driver's license copy of the driver's license. We have a lot of information that they used to have to get to prove their identity. We already have that in the account. It's already on their account, everybody's account's got that on there. You pull up a person's account, you go and pull that up and look at it. And clarify who's who. So there's just no need for redundant language in there. And again, if you don't want all these over, you might decide tonight, you think of them if you need it.
Anybody have any questions? I just want to make sure I'm clear. For 90 days, and just let me know if you all do, for 90 days, they've not paid their bill. And so after 90 days of them not paying their bill, that's what you're wanting to put into policy, that you're going to cancel their account.
We cut them off for them and they start getting billed. Cause we have people come in and say they told us they're supposed to get cut off and then they didn't do it. It happens sometimes. This kind of goes hand in hand with, just good record keeping here and keeping this straight. Cause it's, when, for instance, if somebody, we've had people say, I come here and done this, and we didn't go through this process, because there's a process of canceling their service. But we want to put this in writing because that's what we do. It's not in writing, if somebody referred to it, it wouldn't be in our rules and regs. But it's what we do with practice, and that's why we wanted to add it.
I understand you want to put your operations and your policies and procedures. I do understand that and appreciate that. And then the second order is the discontinuance of service. So is this when someone just cuts it off, or
This is
someone
where-
comes in, they want it cut off, now have somebody take it on?
Well, if you get cut off, you get a $45 late fee. And by practice, if it's their first time, we usually give that back, some credit back to the account as a thank you for paying their bill on time, because somebody might forget and miss paying their bill. And, if they can also, if they've had a good year of paying their debt without any more shut-offs, if that happens again, we give it back to them again as a thank you for paying their bills. That's by practice what we've been doing, but one day in the language in here is added too, so it's in here.
Then if you want to look to items on the three, most approved.
Motion for approval, Mayor McCall. I think the first, we have a second on the floor.
I'll second.
Ms. Stafford with a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next is our approval, our recommendation for the PFAS supplement agreement.
And I talked to y'all about Mike Water, the attorney, his response to it, but I want him to, because I'm always the person, so I asked him to look at this. And he said that, in his address to this, some of the lawsuits, one of them has a 10-year payout. And it doesn't change what we agreed to pay, the 25% of what we agreed to pay them. But it does put it getting paid out over a 10-year period on some, they may have more lawsuits if they go through that does this. And it just means that if we agree to this, they'll get their money up front and we'll get ours sometime at the end of 10 years. That's about what they get paid up front. In other words, that 10 years, most of that money goes to them up front. And we get ours later and come down the road. But, and then he said here that, if, that's how that would work. They'll get paid first. It doesn't change their payment that they would get from the original contract, just how they get paid. And he said if we didn't like it, they wouldn't pay us anything till we clarify this dispute, how to get paid. So he wanted me, he said I should bring this to y'all to decide on, or to recognize it. Now, because y'all recognize before I was able to sign the contract with him, and, but he recommended I bring this to the board for y'all. And if y'all, he said if y'all decided that's something y'all don't like, I could go to him and ask him if there's any other options. If y'all want me to, but, I probably, if it's just up to me, I would just sign it went on, but he said I need to bring it to y'all. Y'all advise on, I don't think if we get anything, it's not gonna change the payment, it's how long it takes to get some of them. And not all of them have a 10-year, this just 3M was one that had a 10-year payout. And I think some of them are pretty amazing. And I can't say we'll see any money at all, because I don't know if we're gonna have enough levels of it to even get anything out of it. But we're still gathering that data through, our testing, that we've got all that data in. It takes so long to get it back to it. And we have to mail those to California to get tested, the samples are sent off. We're still waiting on the results, so they're back on everything. But however, y'all like to, if y'all okay with how that is, I can sign that and go on. If you want to question it or not do nothing about it, just let me know. That's what I'm asking tonight, what y'all thoughts on.
Thank you for the transparency with the emails as well. And What is the opinion of this body? Contract to be. What I understand this states is, my interpretation is with the first 10 years, the attorneys will get their payout first, and what's left over will come towards. And that is presented right now. The only agreement that is presented right now is the 3M agreement, and that's a 10-year agreement payout.
There's 18 different losses we're talking about. This is just one of them. But more of them may pop up like this, I think that. And they may have to do one of these on every one of them.
I would imagine. I would imagine probably structured somewhat differently based on
What they're
the
really.
size and scope of it, would be, I think.
My main goal is to make sure that it wasn't gonna change the original contract we signed. That's why I asked them to look at it to make sure. Cause I'm not a attorney in the words, it's like they obviously, if I found something that we need to watch out for, we're agreeing to. But it looks pretty plain and simple that was explained here.
Can't imagine they're going to want the money first. How do you consider this a formality for us to?
Yeah, I think it just basically, if you're getting the same payout, you just gotta wait to get it over a period of time. If you get anything, I can't say that we don't just, we aren't there yet, no.
Madam Chairman, I'll move to give Mr. McFarland to sign off on that.
Mayor McCall has a first motion on the floor. We have a second.
Second.
I don't have any. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next order of business is our public comments. Let the record show that everyone is on the agenda. And then we have board member comments. Anyone have anything?
Just as a point of, information, we met with, references from, I get all through their acronyms for their acronyms. So then they were talking about, the next, park project we have. Oak Ridge has a 1 acre swimming pool where they took a pond and kind of concreted it completely. And instead by spring, they're losing 200,000 gallons a day through the floor of the swim. And they're having to supplement it with pipe and water pipe. We don't know how much the city is losing, but fortunately, it's spring water fed, they're losing 200,000 gallons a day, which means it's coming out of spring and water mixing the ground. And that's.
Mm-hmm.
So lose 200,000 overnight for once, it's not.
You can have,
I thought that was interesting. That's a lot more.
Take a motion to adjourn if there's not anything else.
Let's send every adjourn.
Oh, we're not gonna make another motion, so.
We're adjourned. Thank you all.